All right, all right. Welcome, guys. Hey. Happy Monday, y'all. Hope you're having a good week so far. Welcome to our Clarity live stream here this Monday in 9-5 Escape. Good to see you guys here. If you're here with us, say hello. Let me know that you're here watching. Let us know where you're watching from. Love to hear from you guys. Let us know a highlight that's going on for you this week here. I would love to hear from you. Guys, if you are new to the group, welcome to 9-5 Escape. This is where we help aspiring online entrepreneurs escape their 9 to 5s without going broke in the process and without losing yourself in the process, because let's be honest, it is noisy out there and it can be difficult to figure out the direction to take. And so we are here to walk you through step by step from getting clarity to creating your course and everything in between. So welcome, guys. If you're new to the group and if you haven't done so already, after this live stream, go ahead up to the announcements post and introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what you're about, and what you're hoping to learn in this group so that we can best serve you. We take directly from this group to create the content around these live streams that we come here every Monday, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern, to share what's working for us. And so if you let us know in the comments what you want to hear, then we can best address those things for you. So what's up, Tosh from Hawaii? Good to see you here. Let us know, guys, if you're online. Let us know that you're watching and that you're with us here today. Good to see you. So I'm excited for today's live because we're actually going to be talking about something that comes up a lot, and that's bridging the financial gap without the stressful piece of it, right? Because what I find time and time again is motivated and determined individuals who want to get out of a career or toxic job that they just don't like. And they've got the idea, they have everything that they need, but they're worried about how to make it work financially. If you've been there before, just drop a 1 in the comments. Let me know if you've kind of been in the spot where you're like, I really am ready to get on my job. I've got a side gig going, or I've got a really good idea of what I want to do. I just don't know how to make it work financially. If you're there, just drop a 1 in the comments. Let me know that's something that you've faced as well. I know when I first left my corporate job in 2011, I had the same concerns of like, I have a great idea. What's it gonna? If I have a great idea, is it going to produce an income that's on par with what I was making then? And did it make sense to really build a business out of it? So the financial piece is something that comes up for a lot of us as we are escaping our 9 to 5. So if you guys have been there, drop 1 in the comments. Let me know if that's something you struggled with. And we're going to go in and I'm going to give you some really just basic advice and tips on how to address this, because I understand that this is, finances are something that you have to pay attention to, especially if you've got, a house, kids, just general life costs money, right? We all know that. And so when you rely on an income, that's kind of the extent of it. It can be difficult to see a way out of it, because you think, well, if I lose my position, then what am I going to do? Or can I continue to sustain my new business? Do I have faith in the process and that it's going to work out for me, and that I'm going to be able to make money month over month, and maybe not just once or twice, but over and over again, to really sustain you? So I get it. We're going to jump into that. We're going to talk about that today, and we're really going to address it because it's important. Taking action is the only way out of your 9 to 5. You probably already know that. You're here, so you've been kind of drilled in if you've been watching these lives, but taking action is really the only way out. And using the financial piece as an excuse to not take action, or thinking about it over and over again, will actually put you in this scarcity mindset and stop you from moving forward. And so we're going to talk about that, some key ways to actually get around that, trick your brain a little bit, because like our minds are super powerful, guys. So if you tell it to do something, it will actually do what you tell it to do. And so we can change these processes. We can trick our brains into actually believing the direction that we're taking is the direction that it needs to go, and is the direction that will be most successful for us. So we're going to talk about how to dive into some of those tricks here today. So if you guys are ready for this, drop a ready in the comments below. Let me know you're ready to get into this, because honestly, guys, after we remove this piece from your psyche and get it out of the way, you're off to the races. You're going to be able to really start getting into action and getting some results for your business. And once you start seeing those results, you're going to see the way out. You're going to know that there's possibility there for you. So let's jump into it. I'm going to share my screen with you guys so that you can see what I'm looking at. And what we're going to kind of dive into today is the following. First, we're going to talk about breaking free the financial restraints that are holding you back. Okay. We're also going to talk about letting go of the most damaging things that you say to yourself, because when I was talking just a moment ago about living in that scarcity mindset, it comes down a lot to what are we telling ourselves on a daily or consistent basis that might not be serving us. And we might not even recognize it, we might not realize it. It's okay. I'm going to help you point those things out, pick them out, and then overcome them. We're also going to talk about how to monetize your business a lot sooner than you might have imagined. There's this idea that being an entrepreneur needs to be this long, hard struggle of a road to get to the successful piece. And while it is often a long road, that's part of it, right? That's like the long game. That's what entrepreneurs love. But it doesn't need to take forever before you start seeing success, before you can start earning money. And that's something that I think is missed a lot. We often think that starting a business is going to take me a couple of years before I can ever make any money. So if I have to work 2 or 3 years at this and work my full-time job at the same time so that I can continue to live at the same level, like, how am I ever going to get out of this? Right? You guys have been there. I mean, it's reality. That's a thought process that goes through, I think, everybody's head, but it doesn't need to take as long as you might imagine, especially when we're talking about online entrepreneurship. You're in this group because we're really specifically talking about entrepreneurship through online social channels. And so it doesn't need to take as long as you might imagine. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then, of course, at the end of this, I'm going to have an invitation for you guys to really step into this for yourselves. And really join us in a blueprint, a step-by-step pathway to quit your 9 to 5 and really go from clarity to concept to creation in 12 weeks. And so we're going to have an invitation for you guys towards the end for that as well. So stay tuned. If you guys are ready to just bust open your side gigs or your passion project and turn it into what you do every day, then you're in the right place. That's what we're going to be talking about today. That's what we talk about every week, because that's what we're passionate about. I'm a firm believer that you should be able to take the things that you love in life, make a business out of it, be able to earn a substantial income from it, and still have control of your time and flexibility, the freedom that we all really kind of crave in life, and really forming this sort of work-life integration concept that I talk about all the time. Just make it all happen at one time, in one place, in one mindset, and life becomes really amazing. So if you guys are ready for this, drop a ready in the comments, and we're going to jump in. The first thing we want to talk about actually is going to be letting go of the most damaging things that you say to yourself. So I've got this a little bit out of order, but that really doesn't matter. So what we want to do first is really go in on this, because honestly, when I have conversations with people who are just coming around to the idea of leaving their job, or something might have happened in their career that they don't jive with, and they starting to kind of investigate this stuff and say, man, maybe I should think about doing something on my own, or maybe I should think about moving online with my business, or maybe I should think about taking my side gig and just making that my full-time thing. There's a lot of stuff that we tell ourselves that might hold us back and actually stop us from taking that action. And like I was saying before, the thought of like 2 or 3 years of work before you can actually make any money is some daunting thought that's going to allow you to talk yourself out of that really quickly, right? The comfort level that you have in your job or your career is too high. And so you've got to really get rid of those thoughts. Now, this can be tough because honestly, in the beginning, I wasn't really sure what was limiting me. There are things that happen to us and experiences that we go through that play into this, but we might not always really realize that they're damaging. And so, I had one experience that was really holding me back, was from some serious cold prospecting that I had to do in my first ish career. And it came down to, I was making 200 cold calls a day. I was directly stopping people on the street and starting conversations with them and trying to set appointments like right then and there. And the people that I was dealing with were very high net worth individuals with very little time, very little patience, to be stopped on the street for random conversations or cold calls, period. And because of some things that just transpired. I mean, this was in 2008, stock market crash. My main source of business went out of business. People were gone. It was rough times for people in the financial industry, and that's who I was working with. So there was a lot of things that I took away from that I didn't realize were actually holding me back in future positions. The ability to go out confidently and just talk to anybody is something that I had so strongly within me when I graduated from professional sales with a bachelor's in professional sales. And then after that experience of being rejected so many times, day in and day out, that can start to eat away at you. Whether or not you let it affect your daily life, those things stick with you. And so as you move on and you start to think, hey, you know what? I do want to leave my job. I do want to start my own thing. But man, I just remember when I got turned down so many times in the past, wasn't good at this. I wasn't good at that. These are the things that we need to get out of our heads already. So think about the limiting beliefs that you have, or what are you telling yourself every day that's not serving you. Become aware of your thoughts. This is going to really help you. And believe me, it's a pretty tiring process. So just ease into this. Okay. Just start to become aware of your thoughts. Think about, notice things that are coming into your mind, or when you start saying negative things to yourself, just put like a stop there. Try to start to notice these things. That's how you're going to get started. Eventually, once you start noticing, you're going to start noticing even more. And those are your opportunities to make the shift. So become aware of your thoughts and then shift to something that serves you. Right? Example, let's say, okay, and I want to remind you too, like the example that I gave about myself, that was in 2008, right? So here we are in 2021. I mean, that was a long time ago. So to be holding on to something like that, that's not serving me, but to tell me that it's still a reality is ridiculous, right? Like, if you guys agree, just drop an agree in the comments. And like, honestly, if you think that you are the same person that you were 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago, you're wrong. You're just wrong. You have changed. You have grown. You've learned things. You are a different person. And so those things that were realities in the past don't need to stay with you. You can change them. You can change yourself. You can change the approach, right? So an example of something that you might say that doesn't serve you is, I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at sales. Has anybody ever heard that or said that? I have a bachelor's of science in professional selling, like a real legit degree, college degree in sales. And I've said that I'm not good at sales plenty of times. Doesn't serve me though, right? So something, I'm not good at sales. Instead, you might say something like, I'm excited by the idea of mastering the process of enrollment. Right? Like, that got me excited just typing it. I actually did get some goosebumps because I'm excited by the idea of mastering the process of enrollment. Something that I really relate back to oftentimes for myself is the mastering of things. It takes time, it takes trial, it takes error, it takes challenge, it takes obstacles to master anything. But part of like the idea of being a master at something, and then the thought of like the whole journey to become a master, is so exciting to me. I don't know why, because it's constant progress to something big, but all the way along are like just these extraordinary wins, right? So if you can get excited by the process of mastering whatever it is that you have, if it's related to sales, then it's enrollment, right? If you can get excited about that, the sky's the limit for you, because people sense that excitement. And that's going to change how you react to situations, right? Instead of saying, I'm not good at sales, if you say, I'm excited by the idea of mastering the process of enrollment, you're going to start noticing opportunities presenting themselves around enrollment around where you can actually step up and skill up in that area. And you're going to start seeing results. So the first thing that you really should do is start letting go of the most damaging things that you're saying to yourself, and just start becoming aware of them, and then switching them to something else. All right, guys. So let's move on to the next, which is break free of the financial restraints holding you back. So this is, again, this is something that is really, really common. And what's going on here? There we go. So I want to give you some ideas on how to break free of these restraints. There's some simple, really simple shifts that you can make. Like, we don't have to make this so complicated. If you are, let's just assume that you're on top of your finances, but you have pretty much gotten to the point where you're maxing yourself out every month, right? You know what to expect coming in, you know what to expect going out, and maybe you've got a little bit left over, but it's not a crazy amount in case there was an emergency or something. You might not be sure, right? So how do you get past that thought process when you're thinking about making such a tremendous shift? So, like, let's be honest, your careers come with a lot of security, for the most part, job security. Although at the end of the day, when you think about it, most of our bosses or companies would sack us in a second, if it came down to money. So we shouldn't really place so much importance on that security or on our loyalty to that company, because at the end of the day, it doesn't usually go both ways. I hate to say it, but it just doesn't really go both ways anymore. So I understand that mindset of being kind of stuck in this set, but how can we make those changes? Like, if I think back to when I was growing up, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have all of this technology, right? And with that was a total lack of other things. Let me just say, like, right, growing up, my parents didn't have let's say four, because there's a family of four cell phone bills. They didn't have a Hulu account, they didn't have a Netflix account, they didn't have a Spotify account, they didn't have, just think about all of the extra things. They didn't have, car payments. You owned cars back then. Like, it was just a different world, right? And now people, like, they make payments on the most ridiculous things, like a TV, like you really need it so bad. But that's just kind of the reality we're living in. So what I'm challenging you to do is go and look at those sort of, let's call them frivolous expenses, and things that you are just maybe not even paying attention to because they don't cost a lot, right? How many services did you sign up for, like a free trial of, let's say, Canva, and then you upgrade it to the pro and it's like $12 a month, and then you don't even use it at all, but you never canceled it because it's only $12 a month. But if you do that over 3 or 4 or 5 different things, then that's going to really catch up with you, right? So take a look and start paying attention to where those little expenditures are coming from. You need to know how to spell when you do this stuff live. All right, little expenditures, i.e. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Canva, old accounts, etc. Just go in and start cleaning up. Listen, in order to start your business, you've got to be willing to make a couple of smaller sacrifices here and there. You don't have to give up your whole livelihood, but you're going to have to make some changes if finances are a major concern for you. This is the way that you can do it. I mean, listen, we just changed our internet provider here, and with that, we got a box. It comes with like all different channels and subscription, all this extra stuff totally for free, right? So I can literally go in and I can start canceling all of the other accounts that I have that I don't need. Or maybe, you have an extra phone plan with a hotspot or something that you don't use. Think about these creative ways to start just chipping away, because $20 a month on a small little services adds up really quickly. Yeah. The other thing, and this is something that I had to do, or that I chose to do really towards the end of my corporate career, was I was working in New York City. And so for me, that was a train ticket of, let's say, I think it was around $300 a month. And then every day I would go out to lunch with my coworkers, $15 per day minimum. Welcome to New York. That's ridiculous, isn't it? But $15 a day, right? So that's 70, what is $95. It's basically $100 a week on lunch. So that's $400 a month, plus the train ticket, $700 a month, right? Clothing, like suits and all that kind of stuff, right? Subway tickets. Had to take a train, also had to take a subway. So these are a lot of things that, like, let's face it, at this point in time right now, a lot of us aren't commuting anymore into our offices, which gets rid of the train ticket price, which gets rid of the lunches, which gets rid of the subway, which gets rid of the clothing, or at least half of the clothing. Half of the clothing, right? Just wear a shirt and a tie. You don't need, you can wear sweatpants. Um, so if your situation has changed in the past year, then start to look at where that situation changed, and maybe some of those expenses you didn't really think about as savings, but ultimately started kind of beefing up your bank account, and see where in those areas you can say, okay, I've now not spending $300 a month on my train ticket. I'm going to put that into a separate account for my business, my side business, or I'm not going to spend it. I'm going to save it, right? Don't look at it as an extra. Look at it as something that you can now put towards your business. The other thing is, and this is going to be huge, and this kind of goes back to number one as well, guys, is breakthrough through scarcity. It's not serving you. It's not helping you at all. Scarcity is a dangerous thing. And what's interesting is that when we are in a 9-to-5, a corporate position, and we talk ourselves out of doing something more, that's scarcity mindset, right? Why do we talk ourselves out of, I just want to kind of sidebar here. Why do we talk ourselves out of doing what we really want to do? If we don't like our job, why are we making excuses for not actually pursuing what would make us happy? Like, even if it was a financial gap, right? Like, how old are you? If you're, it doesn't even really matter how old you are. If it's a financial gap, like, you can still start now. Even if, what if it takes you 5 years? That's okay. It's better than not, right? It's better than staying where you're at for 25 years because you didn't do anything, right? So if it's financial and you can just chip away really slowly, that's okay. Then the financial reason's out the window. Same with the time excuse, right? So why do we constantly make excuses for not pursuing what we really want to pursue? I believe the answer is fear. For most of us, it just comes down to being really scared about what happens if we do actually do it. What if we're successful? What if we're not successful? What are other people going to say? What's going to happen to my perceived social status if I leave a 6-figure career and go do something different? People don't understand, right? So these things that we tell ourselves are not serving us at all. And it really comes down to being in a scarcity mindset. Go for abundance. If you told yourself, as soon as I'm out of my 9-to-5, I'm going to be doubling what I earn with my new entrepreneurial venture, like that, not only does that give you excitement, goes back to telling yourself positive things that are going to drive you in the right direction, but it's also living in abundance. It's saying that I'm actually going to make twice as much by doing my own thing. I'm going to have twice as much time, twice as much money, twice as much, 10 times as much happiness if I leave versus staying, right? Flip the scarcity into the other direction and say, like, if I stay here, this is what's going to drive me into the ground, because when you start to live in abundance, you start to think in abundance, it will change so many different things. I can't even tell you. I mean, it's that real. So breaking free of the financial restraints comes down to, first of all, understanding your finances, paying attention to them. So it's not even just the little expenditures. It really comes down to your full financial picture. Sit down and take a look at it, know what's going out and know what's coming in. If you owe something to someone, know what you owe, and just get a sort of a overall picture of where you're at. because then you can start to look at different places where you can start to cut, and you can start to move and shift that money into yourself, into your business. Because honestly, you can't start, I mean, working online is one of the least expensive businesses to start, but you can't possibly start any business in the world without spending something, right? I mean, you're going to open a restaurant, you spend $500,000 before you even open the doors. You're lucky to make $1 in your first couple of years, right? So to put out some money to advance or to expedite your level of understanding or success with what you're doing can be totally worth it. And this is a way that you can start to kind of chip away at that. But really, ultimately, you want to live in an abundance mindset. Start thinking of more. Start thinking of success, about time, about freedom, flexibility, money, the things that you actually want to have outside of your 9 to 5. Stop thinking about the things that are holding you back, that are the excuses, the reasons why you can't. Think about the reasons why you should. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on here. If you guys are still with me, comment with me in the comments below. Let me know you're here. Just wave, say something, and let me know that you all are here. And we're going to move on. So I want to move on to monetizing your business much sooner than you imagine. This is something that I personally believe is just kind of often overlooked, because you can actually monetize a lot quicker than you might think, especially when we're talking about online businesses, right? So what I find is, sorry guys, just getting a little distracted over here. What I found was that, you think that you need to have, all right, let's back it up here a second. Online entrepreneurship, right? We have generally, if you're in this group, you're going to be marketing either a product or a service. So you might just have a product line that you offer. You might be an affiliate marketer, network marketer, or you might be a coach, or you might have a course that you want to create around something specialized, a skill or knowledge or passion that you have. And so because we're talking about doing this online, this will be relevant for you guys. Now, if you own a pizza shop, there are methods for you to market that online, but this is not going to be the place for you. So this is more so digital. It could be a physical product that you're selling, or a service, but not so much brick and mortar based businesses. So the reason that you can monetize quickly is, first of all, you don't have the startup costs that you would have in a traditional business, like legal fees, real estate, hiring employees, payroll, the list goes on and on, right? These expenses don't really exist right away. So getting in and getting started is not as much of a crazy adventure as it would be to start a traditional big business, right? There's not a lot that has to go out. What we teach here is actually how to do this through Facebook groups, which is, Facebook is free, right? Facebook groups are free. So we're talking about very little to start up. So the good thing is that you can start earning and actually have income and money in your pocket from this a lot quicker, because you're not going to be covering all of those upfront costs like you would with a traditional business. Now, the thing with what we teach here is really, you're able to go out and you can create a course around this. You can create a Facebook group, which is what we teach too, on how to really bring a group of people together around a passion product or service. The thing is that you don't have to be the number one echelon expert in your field, or some fancy guru in order to be able to achieve these things, right? What I want you to really understand is that when you're starting out, whether maybe you've worked in an industry for 20 years and you're the top of your field and you just don't want to work for somebody else anymore, so you can take that information and put it into a course for someone to buy and learn from you, then that's perfect. Then you can go and you can do that right away. But if you don't have something You're basically taking a passion or something that you know and teaching it to other people. And so if you're just getting started, you're teaching people that haven't even gotten started yet, right? If you are 2 years into it, you might be teaching people that are just getting started. If you're 5 years into it, you might be teaching people who are 2 or 3 years into it, really looking to step up their game, right? And so you can grow as the people that you teach grow, as long as you're teaching people that haven't yet gotten to where you are. So I want you to remember that you don't need to feel like you are, the number one in your field, recognized as the guru person to go to before you can start at any of this, because there's always somebody where you're at needing to go further. And that's where you're going to fit in. And so because of that, you can start anywhere and at any time. There is no reason to wait. There's absolutely no reason to wait, because you can just start now. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you can actually start to chip away at this stuff. Like I said before, why, just talk yourself out of it if the alternative is either you can go big and just go for it, or you can chip away over a longer period of time, but still get that result that you want, rather than just saying, no, I'm not even going to try. So you can start anywhere and at any time. And specialized knowledge, skills, and products require a premium. And because of because of how you offer what you're going to offer, you're able to charge a premium. You're able to charge more than you're probably charging right now. And that's something that we really talk about in our course, because it's important to really assess your price point. And it's funny, I saw a meme the other day of someone says, like, have you ever seen this before? $500 client says, I'm going to need to see testimonials, an outline of what we're going to cover, the results that I'm going to get, and a guarantee, of working with you. And then underneath it, it said the $5,000 client says, hey, money sent, thanks. Right. And this is really true in reality. If we're selling something at too low of a cost or price, we're not going to attract serious buyers, serious players. And so the way that you can actually start to monetize your business quicker is actually by charging a premium for what you do, as long as you're talking to the right people, and you're going to get that premium because of what you're going to offer. And so it doesn't need to, don't think in terms of like $20 increments for something that you're selling. Think in terms of thousands and how you can scale that. Okay, so a specialized knowledge, skill, or product is always worth more, and people are willing to pay more for it when you show them the value. That's how we do this, right? We provide the value. And lastly, action equals results. And to be honest with you, there are a lot of excuses. You need a business card, got to have my logo, got to have my website, got to have the colors perfect, got to have a haircut, got like all these things that you can make up. But the fact is, when you have an offer and you know how to market it, then you should do that. You should take the action and do it. People don't really care at the end of the day about your website, especially for what we're doing here, right here. A website is almost completely unnecessary. There will be a point where you scale to where you might want to have a website, but for what we teach in here, it's not necessary. Business cards aren't necessary. Fancy logos are not necessary. And so it really is going to come down to the actions that are going to get you the results. And so monetizing your business can happen really, really quickly. When I first launched this group, I was able to make money from this group within, I think it was 2 to 3 weeks of opening it up. So don't think that you have to wait or have everything all perfectly in place right away. All of this is testing, it's pivoting, it's adjusting, and getting it right for everyone along the course. So guys, we're coming up towards the end here. I did say that I would have an invitation for you all that are watching. So if you're watching, I've got this for you here. I'm just going to drop this one down below as well. So the final piece of this puzzle is really to quit your 9-to-5 for your online business by the end of the year. In order to do that, and it's completely 100% possible for you, I know that, but in order for you to do that, you need a couple of things. One of those things is clarity. The other is a concept. And then the last is actually create on those things. And so my invitation for you guys is to join hands, lock arms, and really take this approach together to accelerate your process, to accelerate your success in your side business or your concept, and really get it through clarity, concept, and creation in 12 weeks so that you are ready to get off to the races and really start making your offer to your audience. And so if this is something that you would like help with, you want to see what this looks like for you and for your business, then type "I'm in" the comments below, and I'll reach out to you. We'll jump on a quick call and we'll see if this even makes sense for you before we go any deeper on it. But if you really want to accelerate this process for yourself, you want to kind of sift through the noise and really figure out what's working right now, for people who want to escape their 9-to-5s into online entrepreneurship through either a specialized skill, a product, a service, or taking your side gig to the next level, comment "I'm in" the comments. I'll reach out, we'll jump on a quick call together, and we'll just see if it even makes sense to take it any further. And if it does, we'll go from there. But if that's something you want to see what it looks like for your business, type "I'm in" the comments. I'll reach out to you guys and we will get that set up. So I hope that you guys got value from this call. If you did, drop a value in the comments. Let me know, and let me know any questions that you have or anything that you would like to see addressed on future calls. Again, everything that you put into this group, we will put out for you. So if you tell me what you want to see, you want to hear, want to learn about, what struggles you're having or what's kind of holding you up, drop it in the comments, shoot me a private message anytime. I'm here for you guys. And I want to address those things for you so that we have great content on every one of these calls. So let me know what you guys want to see in the future. I'm glad to have you all here. I look forward to continuing to support you in your 9-to-5 escape. So anything that you need in relation to getting out of your 9-to-5, reach out to us, let us know. We're here to serve you, really here to help you get to that next level. Let's make 2021 the year that everybody in this group says, "I quit" to their bosses. All right, guys, that's all I got for you this week. I will catch you on the next one. Have an awesome week. I'll see you then. Cheers.